Hour 30 of your fast. You're starving, your stomach is screaming, and you're starting to panic. Am I just torturing myself for nothing? Here's what nobody tells you. Hunger doesn't mean fat burning, and fat burning doesn't always feel like hunger. In fact, there are 5 very specific signals your body sends when belly fat is actually melting off, and most people miss every single one of them. If you've ever wondered whether your 36-hour fast is working or you're just running on empty like a car with no gas, I'm about to show you exactly how to tell the difference. And one of these signs, it happens in your mouth. Let's dive in. Before we get into this, quick reminder, always consult with a healthcare professional before making any drastic changes to your diet or fasting routine. What I'm sharing here is educational, not medical advice. Look, I get it. You're sitting there at hour 30, questioning everything. Your coworker just walked by with a burrito. Your brain is screaming at you and you're thinking, is this even working, or am I just being an idiot? Here's the thing most people don't understand about a 36-hour fast. Your body doesn't flip a switch at hour 16 and suddenly start burning fat. It's not like turning on a light. It's more like starting a fire. First, you need to burn through the kindling. That's your glycogen, your stored carbs. Then, slowly, the bigger logs catch fire. That's your fat stores. But how do you know when those logs are actually burning? Because hunger alone, that's a terrible indicator. I've seen guys white-knuckling through fasts, miserable as hell, and their body is still running on yesterday's pasta. And I've seen others cruising through hour 35 feeling surprisingly clear-headed, because their metabolism has actually shifted gears. The difference? Knowing what to look for. So let's start with that sign I mentioned, the one that happens in your mouth. If you've been fasting for 24 to 36 hours and suddenly you notice this weird, almost metallic or slightly fruity taste in your mouth, congratulations. That's not bad breath from skipping meals. That's acetone. Now, before you panic thinking I just said nail polish remover, let me explain what's actually happening. When your body runs out of easy sugar to burn, it starts breaking down fat into these molecules called ketones. One of those ketones is acetone, and yeah, a tiny bit of it gets released through your breath. Think of it like this. Your body is a hybrid car. Most of the time, it runs on gasoline. That's glucose, sugar, carbs. But when the gas tank runs dry, it switches to the electric motor. That's fat burning, ketosis. And just like an electric motor makes a different sound than a gas engine, fat burning leaves different clues. That metallic taste. That's your body's check engine light telling you, hey, we've switched fuel sources. Most people freak out about this. They think something's wrong. But honestly, this is one of the most reliable signs that you've crossed over. Your liver is cranking out ketones. Your brain is starting to run on fat. This is exactly what you want. Sound familiar? If you've tasted that and thought you were dying, relax. You're not starving. You're winning. Here's where it gets interesting. Around hour 24 to 30, something weird happens. That foggy, hangry feeling you had earlier, it lifts. Suddenly, you're not thinking about food every 5 seconds. Your mind feels sharper, clearer, like someone wiped the windshield. This drives people crazy because it's the opposite of what they expect. They think, if I haven't eaten in 30 hours, shouldn't I be getting dumber? Nope. Your brain on ketones is like a Ferrari on premium fuel. Let me break this down the way I wish someone had explained it to me. Your brain is an energy hog. It uses about 20% of your total calories, even though it's only 2% of your body weight. And normally, it runs on glucose sugar. But here's the problem. Glucose gives you this roller coaster ride. Sugar spike, energy crash, sugar spike, energy crash. It's exhausting. Ketones, they're the steady burn. No spikes, no crashes. Just clean, consistent fuel. It's like the difference between driving on stop-and-go city traffic versus cruising on the highway. Same destination. Completely different experience. So if you hit hour 28 and suddenly you're knocking out work like a machine, or you're having these creative ideas that seem to come out of nowhere, that's not random. That's your brain running on fat. That's a massive sign that your body has made the metabolic shift. In my experience with hundreds of guys trying this, the ones who feel this clarity are deep into fat burning. The ones still feeling foggy and miserable, they're usually still fighting the transition. Or they loaded up on too many carbs before the fast, and their body is taking longer to switch gears. This one messes with people's heads the most. You'd think after 30+ hours without food, you'd be ready to eat your own arm. But then, suddenly, around hour 30 to 36, the hunger just vanishes, like someone turned off a switch. You know what I'm talking about, right? 1 minute you're fighting the urge to raid the fridge. The next minute you're like, I could eat, but I'm actually fine. Here's what's happening. When you're running on sugar and your tank runs empty, your body panics. It sends out ghrelin, the hunger hormone, like a desperate text message. Feed me now. But once your body realizes, oh wait, we've got 50 pounds of stored energy right here on the belly, it calms down. The ghrelin drops. The panic stops. Think of your body like a kid who lost his mom in the grocery store. At first, he's freaking out, crying, screaming. But then he sees her at the end of the aisle and he's like, oh, there you are. We're good. That's your body on fat burning. It found the energy source. Crisis averted. This is huge because it tells you your hormones have recalibrated. Your body isn't in starvation mode, it's in fat burning mode. And honestly, this is when fasting gets easy. The first 20 hours are a fight. But once you hit this zone where hunger disappears, you could cruise for days if you wanted to. Most guys focus on pushing through hunger, but they completely forget that the goal is to get past hunger. That's what really unlocks the fat. Alright, this next one freaks people out, but stay with me. If your hands and feet are getting a bit cold during your fast, that's not a bad sign. In fact, it's often a sign your body is prioritizing fat burning over keeping your extremities toasty warm. Now, I'm not talking about hypothermia here. I'm talking about that slight chill where you might want to throw on a hoodie or grab some socks. What's happening is pretty simple. Your body is redirecting blood flow and energy to essential functions, brain, heart, organs, while it's in this fat-burning state. Your fingers and toes are lower on the priority list. But here's the deeper piece most people miss. When you're burning fat efficiently, there's actually a slight increase in something called uncoupling, which is basically your body producing heat at the cellular level as it breaks down fat. Sounds great, right? Except your body is smart. It doesn't want to waste that heat on your pinkies. It's using it internally, where it matters. Think of it like a house in winter. You don't heat the garage, you heat the living room where people actually are. Same thing. Your body is heating the important rooms, and your hands and feet are the garage. If you're hitting hour 32 and you're reaching for socks, that's often a sign your metabolic rate has shifted. You're burning fat, not just coasting on stored sugar. The guys who stay warm and cozy the whole fast. Sometimes that means their body hasn't fully committed to the fat burning process yet. But here's where it gets crucial. If you're freezing to the point of shivering uncontrollably, or if you feel weak and dizzy, that's different. That's your body telling you something's off. Maybe you're dehydrated, maybe your electrolytes are tanked. Listen to those signals. This isn't about toughing it out. It's about reading your body correctly. Last one, and this is subtle but important. In the first 12 to 16 hours of a fast, you're probably running to the bathroom constantly. Every hour, it feels like your bladder is full. But somewhere around hour 24 to 30, that slows way down. Why? Because in the beginning, your body is dumping water weight. When you burn through glycogen, those stored carbs, each gram of glycogen holds on to about 3 to 4 grams of water. So as you deplete glycogen, all that water gets released. It's why people lose 3 to 5 pounds in the first day of a fast and think they're geniuses, only to realize most of it was water. But here's the tell. Once you stop peeing constantly, it usually means you've burned through most of your glycogen. Your body has moved past the water dumping phase and into the fat burning phase. Fat doesn't hold water the same way, so your bathroom trips normalize. Look, here's where most people get stuck. They see the scale drop fast in the first 24 hours and think, this is it, I'm crushing it. Then around hour 30, the scale stops moving as dramatically and they panic. It's not working anymore. Wrong. That's when it's actually working. The water weight was the warm-up. The fat burning is the main event. If your pee schedule has chilled out and you're not running to the bathroom like a crazy person, that's a sign you've crossed into the zone where real body composition changes happen. In my experience with clients, the ones who understand this don't get discouraged when the scale slows down. They know what's happening under the hood, they're patient, and they get results. So let's recap, because this is important. You're not just guessing anymore. You've got 5 clear signs. The metallic taste in your mouth, that's ketones. Mental clarity kicking in, that's your brain on fat fuel. Hunger disappearing, that's hormones recalibrating. Cold hands and feet, that's energy prioritization. And bathroom trips normalizing, that's glycogen depletion. When you see these signs, you're not starving, you're burning. Big difference. But here's what trips people up. They hit hour 30, they see some of these signs, and they think, cool, I'm burning fat, time to eat a pizza. No. The magic happens when you push through to hour 36 and beyond. That's when your body is fully adapted, fully running on stored energy, fully torching belly fat. The biggest mistake I see guys making is they do everything right, they make it to hour 30, they see the signs, but then they break the fast with garbage food and undo half the progress, or they don't fast long enough to actually tap into the deep fat stores. They're stopping right when the party's getting started. You know what I'm talking about, right? You've done the hard part. Don't sabotage yourself at the finish line. Honestly, this whole thing comes down to one shift in perspective. Stop thinking of fasting as deprivation. It's not starvation. It's metabolic flexibility. It's teaching your body to access the energy you've been carrying around on your belly for years. Most people are metabolically broken. They can only run on one fuel source, sugar. The second they skip a meal, they feel like they're dying. But that's not normal. That's dysfunction. Our ancestors didn't have 3 meals a day plus snacks. They went days without eating and they were fine. Better than fine, actually. Sharp, focused, strong. Fasting isn't some trendy hack. It's getting back to how your body was designed to operate. And when you see these 5 signs showing up, that's your body remembering, oh yeah, I know how to do this. The Kong lifestyle isn't about suffering. It's about freedom. Freedom from being a slave to food every 2 hours. Freedom from that blood sugar roller coaster. Freedom from carrying around 30 pounds of belly fat you don't need. And look, I'm not saying it's easy. The first 20 hours can suck. Your brain will try to convince you that you're dying. But if you push through, if you watch for these signs, you'll realize your body is way more capable than you gave it credit for. So next time you're at hour 30, questioning everything, don't just ask yourself, am I hungry? Ask yourself, do I taste metal? Is my mind clear? Has the hunger disappeared? Are my hands cold? Have I stopped peeing constantly? If the answer to most of those is yes, you're not suffering for nothing. You're winning. Your body has made the switch. The belly fat is burning. Keep going. And remember, this isn't about perfection. It's about consistency. One 36-hour fast isn't going to transform your life, but doing this once or twice a week for 3 months. That's when you see the compound effect. That's when your coworkers start asking what you're doing differently. Small, smart adjustments lead to real changes. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to understand the signals your body is sending and trust the process. Focus on the carcass, keep that gorilla mind sharp, and don't let a little hunger scare you off when you're this close to breaking through. You've got this. Look, I've pinned a complete fasting guide in the first comment, what to drink hour by hour, how to break the fast without killing your progress, and the biggest mistakes that stop fat burning dead in its tracks. Grab it before you start your next fast. And if this cleared up the confusion between actual fat burning and just being hungry, smash that like button. Let's help more people figure this out.